Alright, so here we are with the Parkzone Corsair, and what I'm working on now is putting on these CA hinges, which look like this. They're small, but strong. They have a needle hinge right here in the middle, see that? What I've done is on this side already, I've cut from one end all the way down to the other, inserted two of these CA hinges on each flap there. And what I'm going to do is do the same thing here. Now, the reason I'm doing it is, as you can see, this is how the flaps came on this plane. As you can see, it's already separating here on the inside. This is right out of the box. Same thing with right inside here. Same thing. They're separating. Now, this plane here, because I keep track of how often I fly, has 26 flights on it for roughly, I believe it's 2 hours of flight. Now, I've not crashed this plane. I've not even had any hard landings. Now, I've been fortunate. My trunnions, they look like they're holding up on the retractable landing gear. But the flaps, not so much. So I will take my trusty X-Acto knife and cut right down here, all the way down. Put in those CA hinges, and then these flaps will be good to go, and it should probably never fail. Okay, so here I've got the flaps off now. As you can see, I cut them as cleanly as I could from the wing here. What I'm going to do now is I will take the X-Acto knife and I will cut in, straight in, some slots all the way across the wing here. That'll correspond with the slots I will cut here on the flaps, where I will put these hinges. Those hinges there. Alright, so right here, what I've done is I've cut one of these slits right here. So what I do is I'll take just the tiniest bit of CA on this side and then on this side. And then I get the flap, and then rather quickly, see, I didn't do it quickly there, but rather quickly you push it in, and now this hinge is good to go. Now you notice here we have the screws for the control horn here. So what I'm going to have to do is I will take one of these hinges and I will cut very carefully in the middle a notch. And that notch is to make way for the screw that is in there so that the hinge can go on both sides around it. Doesn't matter how, you can see I cut it crooked, doesn't matter so much. I will make this side a little straighter, so maybe it's a little easier for me to get it in there, but other than that, doesn't matter how straight it is. All that matters is that you'll be able to get it inside here past that screw right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut into this flap. Now I cut a little bit wider than necessary. This isn't the space shuttle. It's not a commercial airliner. So it doesn't matter that my slot is a little wider than necessary for the flap or for this hinge. And now I will slide this in here as soon as I can find the slot, which sometimes is hard to do, especially if you don't widen it like I didn't. There we go. And we just get it in there. There we go. And it went, that slot right there for the screw allowed it to go right in there nice and flush. So now this one is ready. This one's now ready to be put into the wing. Now I'm going to do the same thing to these two pieces, and then I'm going to do something different than I did on the other side. On the other side I put the flaps on individually, and I ended up kind of damaging this piece here on the other side. Not damaging it so much as separating it away from the flap, and I had to re-glue it on the inside. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and put all these CA hinges onto all three flaps, and I'll put all the three flaps together, and then carefully I'm going to put all of them onto the wing at the same time. Alright, so right here I've got all three flaps ready to go with the CA hinges. Now I just need to go over here to the wing, cut in the slots on the wing itself, and I will go ahead and attach that into there, reattach the control rod here, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, and here we are done. So they're back on. They're glued in. This side went on a little bit easier than the other side did, only because, you know, it's the second one I did. And once you get a little bit of practice, it's always a little easier. Now, obviously my cuts were, you know, could have probably been a little straighter, but part of this also is the fact that some of these spots you had ripping of the foam already. And then secondly, when you put the hinges in, it sometimes kind of pushes the foam in with it. But no worries, I'll be getting some touch-up paint. I've got some here for some of my other planes, but I'll be going to Lowe's and having them do some color match on the blues so I can do some touch-up both on the top and the bottom. So get this touched up here, get this little spot touched up here, which is kind of ridiculous. But there you go. So now this Corsair has its flaps fixed.